When I shoot, I don't miss. And no, I'm not talking about Carmelo Hayes. I'm talking about the new tag predictions champion, the Quattro, now 4 times prediction champ, Scootaloo. Welcome everybody to this review of NXT Deadline, and to give a backstory of what just happened there in that introduction on our lovely channel. We've introduced this thing, the Tag Predictions Champion, Tag Predictions Championship. Dizzle was the inaugural champion, and every major pay-per-view, depending on if they're close around each other or if they're separate, however, we do our predictions, and whoever comes out the champ in a sense, they get the title. And Dizzle was recent champion. You know, he was on his third reign, and just like that, snatched it. That, and it wasn't like a money in the bank situation where I cashed in when the champ was beaten and battered. It was more like a Big E situation when Big E was like, "Hey, yo, Bobby, I'm gonna cash in that money in the bank briefcase." I did a promo where I'm telling you I'm gonna cash in this money in the bank briefcase, and when I come out and let you know I'm cashing in this money in the bank briefcase, don't feel away. I literally told this one, I'm gonna get that belt back from you, fam. I'm gonna get that prediction championship back from you. And he laughed it off, scoffed like, "Ha ha ha! I'm Dizzle. I run this. I'm prediction champion. I took Dizzle's predictions to Suplex City. Let's just say that. Because not only did I win, yeah, boy, won. And since this was 2 events, because you had RH Final Battle and you had NXT Deadline in the same night, we combined them both. And I took your boy Dizzle to Suplex City. And now the Quattro is born. But let's get into this NXT Deadline. It was not only NXT's final event, final premium live event, but it's also WWE's as a whole final premium live event, because WWE got rid of Day One. So they won't have another event until Royal Rumble. NXT won't have another premium live event until Vengeance Day in February. But they did announce throughout the show New Year's Evil, when their theme Tuesday shows will happen. Did they say January 14th? January 10th? 14th? Something like that. Round up in there somewhere. But let's get into the notes, because if you knew what was happening with NXT Deadline, they introduced a new match type, the Iron Survivor. One for the women, one for the men, and the winner was going to be number one contenders from each. And basically, the match rules were 2 men or women start, and every 5 minutes, a new competitor enters. And it was basically Iron Man-esque style. And the object was to have the most victories by the end of the 25-minute time limit. If you suffered the pinfall or loss, you had to sit in the penalty box for 90 seconds. And the show opened with it, and the first one was the women's Iron Survivor. We had Roxanne Perez, who was number one, going against Zoe Stark. They go at it. Then third was Kiana James. Then fourth, Cora Jade. Fifth, Indy Hartwell. Stark draws first blood by pinning Roxanne Perez. So, of course, Perez had to go penalty box. Then Cora Jade gets a pin over Kiana James. Indy gets a pin over Roxanne Perez. Then, with it being like the last little, wasn't exactly within the 10 minutes, but it was shorter than the 10 minutes. Perez was like, I want this W, fam, and I'm gonna get this victory, because she pins Zoe Stark, then she pins her former bestie, Cora Jade. Time expires. Roxanne Perez is the inaugural Women's Iron Survivor. So she would get her title shot against Mandy Rose. I'm assuming it's going to be at New Year's Eve. So congrats to Roxanne Perez. Book was beside himself because he was, her being a former student. More on him later. Her being a former student and of reality of wrestling and everything. So he was ecstatic that his protege Iron Survivor. Next up, grudge match. Alba Fire. Oh, and for this match, I did pick Indy Hartwell, but it ended up being Roxanne Perez. So all in all, I was 3-2 with NXT Deadline. So I was 3-2, and add that to my 7-1. Yeah, you heard me. 7-1 for Final Battle. Just 10-3 for the whole night. Like, impressive. However, how you want to see it, impressive. Grudge match, Alba Fire, Isla Dawn. I felt this should have had a stipulation, considering that it was somewhat of a grudge match, of the fact that, Isla Dawn cost Alba the women's championship when she went against Mandy Rose in the last woman standing. I felt like there should have been some type of stipulation to this match. But Alba being the witch of NXT and things like that, she has these witchy powers. And what happened was that Alba hit the gory bomb, or I can't remember if she hit the gory bomb or the swanton. But right when she was going for the pin, the ref who suffered one of Isla's fate before, he starts to throw up black shit. And it was like, what? So as he's, throwing up black stuff and spitting up black stuff, Isla, where she removed the middle turnbuckle pad earlier in the match, pushes Alba into it. Shenanigans. Another ref comes out. Isla gets the dub. 1, 2, 3. I predicted this correctly because it was like this beef was just starting, so why not? So why make Isla lose her second match in NXT? Like, she won her first match with Thea Hale, so why technically lose her second match? And then next up, we had the NXT Tag Team Championships. Pretty Deadly, yes boy, versus the New Day. The New Day was like, hey, yo, say fam, we here Pretty Deadly talking all that jibber jabber and boyang, talking about how they beat everybody. They ain't beat us. And literally, this match happened. This match literally built Tuesday. And it happened Saturday. So New Day was like, we trying to become Triple Crown champs. And New Day come out there in their Avatar inspired gear. Pandora, Navid, those people, not the last airbender. That would have been dope too. And then Pretty Deadly had their Christmas-esque outfit on. And it was a pretty good match, pretty decent match. The one downfall to this match, the one thing of this match that overshadowed this match was Booker T. What the fuck was that? I don't know if he has beef with New Day. I don't know if he was trying to sell some type of whatever, but that shit he was doing Saturday night, Because, yeah, when you have heel commentators, they sell something. This felt worse because Booker doesn't come off as a heel commentator. And that was the thing. It wasn't like back in the day when you clearly had heel. This came off as just pure fucking hate. And I don't know what the fuck was up with Book in his commentary, because he was all like, well, it's unfair that the New Day wants to challenge Pretty Deadly. The New Day is this, that, and the third. Why are they coming down here? What's their angle? What's their reason? Hey, Kofi sitting here twerking. Now, Kofi twerks. And then the blonde hair one is Kit or Sam? The blonde hair member of Pretty Deadly. He twerks and Booker's all like, yeah, see, that's how you really do it. That's how you're supposed to do it. And then Vic is sitting next to him like, the fuck is this? Like hypocrisy happening right now. Then Kofi really starts to twerk and Book. So see, this is why we can't take New Day serious, because they being too goofy. And it was like, what the fuck? Like literally the match to me was overshadowed. Like honestly, if you go back and watch this match, watch this shit on mute. Watch this on mute, because Booker T fucking almost ruined this match with his commentary and him being a goddamn hater. But ultimately, Midnight Hour, New Day, and new NXT champions. They are now officially Triple Crown, NXT, Raw, and SmackDown. And booking-wise, it makes sense because Pretty Deadly has pretty much beat every tag team on the roster. At least in New Day's case, they can face some of those same tag teams that Pretty Deadly fought, and Pretty Deadly can work their way back and potentially dethrone New Day, and that'll make Pretty Deadly, I think, what, 3-time? 4 if you want to count NXT UK, but it'll be 3-time champs. But it brings a new energy to the tag team division. New energy. To the tag team division. See, all this how it had puns. To the tag team division, because we get to see fresh matchups. And it's gonna be interesting to see how New Day are in NXT. Kind of like when Dolph Ziggler was NXT champion for that brief moment. Why not? But yeah, watch this match on mute. Because Book, I don't know what that was, my guy, but hot trash. Hot trash. Next up, the men's Iron Survivor. The order of how they came in: JD Madonna first, Axiom second, Carmelo Hayes third, Grayson Waller fourth, Joe Gacy fifth. Look at, they understood the assignment. I kind of wish that this was the main event, other than the main event, because them boys went out there and they fought in this Iron Survivor as if the title was on the line, which that's how they can make this match interesting in the future. If an actual title is on the line. But they went out there and showed out. Mello gets the first pin. He pins Axiom. Waller, there was a moment where everybody was a little kind of beat up. Waller comes out, does his rolling, jumping stunner, but he hits both Axiom and JD with it and pins them both. So Waller, when he comes in, he gets a fresh 2-pack out the gate. Then Axiom pins Waller. Axiom then pins JD. So now we have at least Axiom and Grayson Waller with 2 dubs. Gacy comes in, submits Axiom almost immediately. Then Gacy pins Hayes. So now we got Gacy now joining the 2-pack club. Carmelo submits Waller. So now we have 4 2-packs. And notice, I never said JD. They shut JD down. He didn't get out a single dub. And what made theirs a little interesting more than the women, multiple people were getting eliminated around the same time. The first time it happened, JD and Axiom was both in the penalty box together. And y'all, if y'all been keeping up with NXT, they started fighting in the penalty box. There was a lot of penalty box action. There was a lot of people being kept in the penalty box. At one point, Grayson Waller tried to keep Axiom and was it JD or Axiom and Waller? No, Waller tried to keep Waller. Was it? I want to say it might have been Axiom and JD, and Axiom just climbed up the top and was like, "I'm just jumping on you, fam." But yes, they shut JD out. JD did not get a single dub, and the finish of the match was so skeezy, so heel, so conniving that although I was pissed, I couldn't help but to appreciate it because Mello went for his top rope leg drop and he was about to pin Axiom. Waller grabbed Hayes. Nah, fam. Stole that man's dub. And he stole it with exactly a minute left. So, of course, he couldn't pin Axiom because Axiom is now in the penalty box for the rest of the match. Madonna was on the other side of the ring laid out. Waller realized, nope, snatched Madonna out. Hayes is trying to chase Waller. Waller was like, outran it. Like he literally just, I'm fast as fuck, boy. Can't catch me, boy. Just like this commercial on TV. I'm like Sonic, boy. And then the time expired, and the look on Hayes' face was like, this mother. Grayson Waller is the new #1 contender for the NXT Men's Championship. And I'm going to assume, once again, that match is going to be on New Year's Eve. But yes, from the way the Iron Survivor match went, I am sure this will not be the last. Because I can 100% see one of them at some point being for a title, whether it's North American, World, or the women's. Do not do a tag team. There'll be way too many people in the ring. Keep it with singles competitors. Please. That'll be the one thing. Keep it with singles competitors. Don't try to do a tag team. There'll be way too many people. But I can 100% see this. Now, I don't know if Deadline necessarily is going to stay the end of the year pay-per-view, but I can 100% see this match type staying around because it was a little exciting to watch. I thought the rules was a little weird with having the competitor staggered in, but it brought in more excitement because, like I said, Waller came in, got his 2-pack right out the gate. And literally up until the final minute, it was action. So even with the women's, because I think after Roxanne got her final, Cora Jade was like, not Cora Jade, because she pinned Cora Jade last. Once I think it was Indy. Somebody else was trying to hurry up and scramble and get a dub, but it wasn't happening. So definitely it was exciting to watch. I was kind of a little iffy, but it was 100% exciting to watch. Main event time, NXT Championship, Braun Breaker, Apollo Crews. Cruz's Diaries was interfered with Braun Breaker, coming in. Braun Goes Fishing was interfered with Apollo Crews. Now this little friendly rivalry can truly be settled. It can truly be settled. And they really tried to play into that whole Cruz can match everything with Braun. He can match his strength. He can match his intensity. Of course, he had Braun beat on the speed side, but it was an okay match. And if you hear me talk about championship matches before, this didn't feel like a title change. It didn't feel like a title was going to change. There was moments in the match where Cruz was getting frustrated, and the missus told me about it, and I seen it for myself. There was this one serial killer angle they did one time where the camera was like right on Cruz's face. Then it zoomed out to show that he had this wide eye look like, I gotta figure out how I'm gonna beat him. And it was like, oh, what was that? But Cruz was getting frustrated at the fact that everything he was doing, he couldn't keep Breaker down. And I can't remember what was the final sequence exactly, but Cruz was trying to go for something. Braun hit the ropes or whatever, hits the spear, 1, 2, 3. Um, in typical NXT fashion, when that lower third graphic pops up, be prepared. Braun trying to get his celebration on, retaining. In steps Grayson Waller, hit him with that beatdown. His number one contender was like, enjoy that title while you got it, fam. Now, I can't remember for a fact if I predicted on this platform or I might have just said it, but I had the feeling that whoever won both Iron Survivor matches were going to be the new champions. So I do see Roxanne Perez finally dethroning Mandy, and I can see Grayson Waller beating Braun Breaker. So I can 100% see these two being the new champions, especially if they have both matches at New Year's Eve. Um, that was Deadline. Deadline. NXT events are usually short and sweet because it's usually only 5 matches. I think the total runtime was 2.5 hours. Um, Definitely this is worth watching, especially the Iron Survivor matches. New Day and Pretty Deadly was worth watching. Watch it on mute, unless you just want to hear the hating Booker T was doing. And if you enjoyed that hating Booker T was doing, don't tell me. But keep it to yourself. But thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for watching. Like, comment, share. Let us know everything down below what you thought of NXT Deadline. You know, what you thought was match of the night, moment, all the above. Let your boys know. Shout outs to Juggs, shout outs to Lip Dizzle, shout outs to Jaeger Bum Bastard. Uh, like I tend to do every now and then before I wrap this up, I'm gonna briefly talk my shit because that's your new champion, the Quattro. Long may my reign last. Because I truly do not have to defend my championship again until Royal Rumble. And I hope to keep it past the Royal Rumble because the Quattro wants to keep his title for as long as possible. The Quattro. 4-time, 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 4-time tag predictions champ. Thank y'all for tuning in. And like we do, if you're new here, we like to warm up this good old Too Sweet for the people out there. And if if you've been here before, you know what I'm saying, go ahead and tag out with me. But until next time, good people out there, tag the fucking out. Peace.